Well, Mr. Sam Wright, welcome to the Turnpike Show.
Hey, thanks. It's good to be back. I think I mentioned to you guys both briefly. I think I was on in November, and
Yep.
you guys have made quite a bit of progress here in the Open Road Network studios. I love it.
Yeah. No, there's no question about that. And yeah, you were part of our first number of shows of the Sales Podcast that Robert and I host on Wednesday mornings. And today you're joining us here to talk again about the Up app and the exciting things that are happening there. Since the last time we talked, you actually got a promotion.
Yeah, yep. I am the director of business development now here at Up. So happy to announce it, and glad to be here again.
Well, very, very
Congratulations.
cool.
It's great.
Thanks, man.
So what we like to do, I like we do with any show, is for those who have not tuned in before, or had a chance to meet you, we'd love to have you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Sam Wright with the Up app. And I'm the business director of business development here. But briefly for the audience and for those who might not have heard of the Up network and the Up app, Jonathan, I know you mentioned it briefly, but what it is an actual network. And there's the website right there, theupapp.com. It's actually a network and a platform for those in the machining and fabricating industry. And the network is actually made up of what we call service requesters and service providers. So really at their core, the service providers are your OEMs, the machine builders, your distributors. We have independent service providers. We have specialists that would work on, a component of the machine like a spindle or a servo motor. And then on the other side, we have the service requesters. So that's going to be anything from your large manufacturers to machine shops, job shops, contract manufacturers. And we're actually finding quite a bit of what I guess would consider to be sort of niche manufacturers. So we have, metal furniture manufacturers and guitar manufacturers on there, people that are actually being exposed to CNC metal cutting and fabricating machinery, and now they actually own a piece of this equipment. And when they need to find service, they're actually able to send a service request very easily through the Up network. And on the other side, those service providers that I mentioned, they can be connected to them and receive estimates and begin communication. So that way they can minimize their downtime and keep making money, as we all know.
Yeah, I mean, and when we talked about this on the Sales Podcast back in November, we discussed this and we talked about how when especially in a machine shop, where we had machinery that a number of it was old. We're talking machines that were 20 plus years of age or older. I mean, to find a guy that could work, or a girl for that matter, a service tech to work on a machine that's 2 years old.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem really hard to accomplish. At that point, it might just be whether or not the time to get in there. But finding someone that can work on a machine that's 25 years old or older and be able to solve that problem, to me, was a struggle that we had in our shop. And maybe being able to connect someone, a machine shop owner, to someone that has that background, to me, is extremely important. And there wasn't, I didn't know where to go at that point in time. Like I told you, I didn't know how to get to, where do I go? We called Joe, Joe was our service guy. And then Joe would be like, well, I can't do it. I'm going to send you to Bob. And then Bob would come in. And then if Bob couldn't do it, then we would call Mike. I mean, that's kind of how that worked.
You are not alone. That was definitely something that I know there was a need for it when the idea was conceived, but it is incredible to see one, how long these machines will run if there's someone there to service them. And then it's incredible, our service providers, just the amount of experience and knowledge and sort of tribal knowledge, I guess you would say, to service these legacy machines or machines that are out of warranty or maybe considered to be a little bit older. Just to have them on the network and to be able to see them, keeping these machines running is really incredible. So there's definitely a need for it out there. You were not alone in that scenario.
Well, I'd like to share a little bit of inside knowledge uh, as a sales guy for this type of equipment. Every good sales guy usually has a third party guy in his back pocket, just in case your techs can't get there, or it's like you said, an older machine. A lot of manufacturers don't support their own machinery past 10 or 15 years. It's a major problem.
Yep.
I'm happy now that I'm representing a company that doesn't do that. The products that we have do cover direct manufacturer's response as long as the machine will still turn on. So I'm glad there, but at the end of the day, you always have to have a line of defense there, because every once in a while, doesn't matter how good the company is, there's going to be a guy, or there's going to be a pandemic or something that's going to stop the guys from getting in there within 24 hours, which is ideal, right? And you have to have a backup plan for that. And the Up app is an amazing backup to even the OEMs.
Yeah, and you're with that. Like you said, it's an amazing plan for the OEMs to have, especially maybe these sales guys that want to provide this high level of customer service. And you want to sell a new machine, but you got to keep that old machine running, and that's what's going to keep a customer coming back and buying new iron from you. Yep. So what we have discovered is this hybrid labor model, which I think I spoke about maybe last time I was on, but it really it's not a new practice. It's actually, it allows OEMs and builders and their distributors, who actually may be service providers at their core, to actually request service on behalf of their customers. And they're able to find, these experienced service providers that are able to, you don't want to ignore your customer, but they're able to find them in order to help them out in the meantime and provide that service, keep them up and running. And again, it's just, it goes to keep a high level of customer satisfaction. So, as customers, it doesn't matter if they are in a very unreachable place, if it's very difficult to get to them, they're, maybe a couple days by car, or even, a couple different connecting flights, they're still going to want that service from you if you're their guy. So to be able to expand your own network and to be able to request service on your customer's behalf, maybe find someone that's more local or has the knowledge or know-how, it's a very valuable thing. And that's something that's enabled largely by the Up app and the Up network.
No, and as I said this before, and Rob, you brought up a great point about the OEM. And I remember, and I think we even told this story. I've said it to you, at least, Sam. We had a DMG Mori 1035V on our floor, and when it went down, when we contacted DMG, they gave us a 4-week, 3 to 4 week, fix time, and that wasn't going to cut it, not on any level. So now you're trying to find somebody that has the ability to not only work on that machine, but be able to fix it and do so without having to, lose all this time.
Right.
And, finding someone that can come in within 8 to 12 hours of a machine going down, getting it, diagnosing the problem, getting it fixed, so that you've only lost, 2 shifts versus several shifts of work, is huge. And that, to me, is the value of this, because we can talk all day long about OEMs and about, hey, the ability for someone to fix something and get it done in a timely manner and quality, all those things. But giving people power, the power to be able to act on their phone here, very quickly go on there and connect themselves with a reputable company that has experience working on the equipment in question, and find a solution to that problem is something that is needed very much in this industry. And the fact that you guys are the largest, this is what it says here, we have the largest national network of industrial service providers, and many of them are located along the border states to the north and south of both Canada and Mexico. Is that right?
Yep, that's absolutely correct.
That's and according to this, Mexico is the 12th largest economy in the world and the largest exporter of manufactured products in Latin America. Did you know that, Rob?
No, I did not know that, actually.
I learned something new today. So why is it important that you tell us, about Mexico and Canada, how many service providers are along the border?
Yeah, I'm glad you got my little teaser notes there. After our next release, the Up app will be available in both Canada and Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And then shortly after, it'll be available fully in Spanish. So we're really excited. We've been doing a lot of our research. That was something where we've had the demand and even sort of the presence, but we started to look a little bit more into it, and we're really surprised that the production of manufacturing that's coming out of Mexico.
Wow.
So really, it's been a really exciting learning process, and we're excited to announce it. It's kind of been, I know we have some marketing coming up, but I'm glad that we connected when we did, and we touched base, and that I'm on the podcast now, because this has kind of been the first sort of external conversation that we've had about it. We haven't kept it a secret, but definitely very happy to announce that in our next version, we will be available in Mexico and Canada.
And when is the next version supposed to come out?
So it should be before the end of the month.
Okay.
It's definitely within the next month or so. But I mentioned we have sort of the request. So we've been hearing for a long time from manufacturers that this is great. We're able to find service through the UP network. We actually have a transplant facility in Mexico. Is it available in Mexico? Or in Canada? Is it available in Canada? And to this point, we have not had it in the app stores in those countries, or it has not been available on the platform. But since it's free to use, we thought, okay, let's flip that switch on and let's make it available in those geographies. Now, that being said, like we have been learning a lot. It is not just the flip of a switch. We have to do all the translation and all that. But we feel that there is, again, the demand for it, and that we already do have a little bit of presence there. I mentioned the border cities, or you mentioned the border cities that we have on the UP network. We found that a lot of the service providers and service requesters along those cities will actually go across the border, or they'll put a request through that's for the United States and say, hey, we have a location here, but we actually have a facility in Mexico that, if you guys go across the border, we'd love to, onboard you as a vendor. So we've already made these connections. Like I said, there's already a bit of presence in Mexico and Canada. So we thought, why not?
Well, that's a great point. And again, as we've talked about, the idea that like where someone goes now to find someone, I would imagine ThomasNet is a place that people have gone to in the past. I don't know, because when I had no idea where to go when I was in that position. I would assume that a lot of machine shop owners, they go with who they know or who their friend knows, or referrals.
Yeah.
What is the biggest, the biggest hurdle that you found in your time at the UP app to overcome that? Because I would imagine there's some hesitancy, because I think of Uber, and I compare Uber because you're connecting, maybe that's the wrong place the thing to use, but how do you overcome that? Because I imagine there's this disconnect between people who know where to go and those who don't, and all that.
Definitely. So as much, as much money as there is in this industry, you guys both definitely know that it's definitely very close knit, and it is very much, who and you made the reference. It is very, very common thing to say, oh, we go to Joe down the road for this repair. So one thing I like to tell people and like to ask them is, when was the last time that you sort of evaluated these services or had options? Because, if you would like to know, by all means, continue to call him, continue to send a request. And like you mentioned with that DMG Mori, it might be 3 or 4 weeks before he can get to you. Well, that's not going to cut it. It's, time is money. And then while a machine is down, you're losing money. So, if you want to go to Joe, go to Joe. At the same time, my challenge would be to the listeners, or to anyone that's in a manufacturing plant or operates a piece of CNC machinery, to also send a request through the UP network. It's free to use, and you're going to get multiple options in return based on availability, pricing. You can see all these things, where they're coming from, how far away they are. And that'll give you options. So, it's not this whole internal huge audit process that you have to go through. It's a very simple thing, just to put a request out there and see what comes back. So that would be my challenge to you, and then or to the listeners. And then once you've found that service, all of that is stored in your history. You actually have a record of it too. It's just, there's a lot of features that we've put in over the years that it just makes total sense just to at least give it a try. So yeah, definitely overcoming people's sort of narrow-mindedness in the past has been a hurdle, but we're definitely finding people are becoming more open to it.
I mean, that makes sense. I think so. Rob, I was thinking here, and I was going to ask you this too, Sam, is because Rob, you're in the machine world now too. You're selling OEMs. Do I pay for this? Through the app? I mean, because I think about it from a repair standpoint, a lot of shops are net 7, they're net 10. I mean, who knows what invoices might look like in this. I know with our guy that we would, he would send us a bill and we would pay him within 10 days. But am I putting my credit card in and paying for this? Are they quoting it and giving me a price over the phone? Like, how does it work?
Completely free.
Nice.
And that's where people always think there's some sort of hook. We are completely free to use. We don't take any commissions or fees, so we're not taking from you or from your customer or anything like that. All you have to do is go to theupapp.com and register. You can use it on your phone or on your desktop if you prefer, and it's completely free to use. So you mentioned before, it's like an Uber or something. I compare it to like an Angie's List or a Home Advisor, where similar concept in terms of the functionality, but also in terms of revenue and launch model. Right now, we're in that building phase where we are just creating this network and gathering insights that we can help to provide in sort of a one-off situation that may be valuable. We can provide marketing, stuff like that we can do short term. And then long term, again, we're looking to grow that network as an Angie's List or Home Advisor would. And then there's different models we could play off of in the future.
Very cool. Well, Sam, one last question here.
Sure.
Before we wrap this up here, this first segment. If there's one thing that you'd want someone who's sitting in a shop right now, an owner, a plant manager, you want them to know about your app that could help them, what would that be?
I think, again, maybe going back to that mindset of keeping an open mind and just taking a minute to think, doing business the way business has always been done just for that reason is again, sort of narrow-minded. And just, I would challenge, again, if you want to go ahead and call your OEM or your rep, go ahead and do that. At the same time, put a request through the Up network and see what comes back. So I think just keeping an open mind, and especially for something that's free like the Up app, it's sort of a no-brainer. Why not just check it out?
No, there's no question about that. Sam, thank you very much. If you were looking to download the app or to go to or to get more information about the Up app, go to www.theupapp.com. You can download the app on Google Play or the Android devices and Apple iOS store today. So, and again, it's free. And if based on what you were saying, Sam, is I can go to the website and just start putting information in through the request machine repair. And then from there, start that process. So, and if you want to become a service repair company, you want to actually be the company that offers the repair, you can also do that as well through the upapp.com. So, Sam, man, thank you very much. When we come back from break, we will be welcoming Mr. Greg MacArthur here from NTL Industries. We will take a quick break here. Remember, we are live right now on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Podbean, and Twitch. Mr. Sam Wright, thank you again. We will see you here very soon.
It's good to see you guys. See you soon.